Tom Jones's amazing life and the hard times he went through. The last part of his amazing life is about to begin. Stay tuned as we go into more detail about his legacy, the fights he faced in his last days, and the man whose music touched the hearts of millions of people. Thomas John Woodward was born on June 7, 1940. On 57, Kingsland Terrace in Trefhurst, Wales, in a small house. His dad worked in a coal mine, and Frida, his mom, took care of the family at home. A mix of Welsh and English roots ran through their family tree, which had a big impact on Tom's personality. In Wales, life wasn't fancy, but it was real. Tom became the person he is today because of the difficulties he faced, the strong sense of community he felt, and his commitment to hard work. Tom had a great ability even when he was a little kid. He wasn't very interested in school or sports, but music was his true calling. His voice was different from everyone else's at family parties, weddings, and even in the school choir. Feelings were strong, clear, and strong in it. There were some bad times for Tom when he was 12 years old. He had tuberculosis, the doctors said. He had to be in bed for 2 years, and the whole world seemed very small to him. He was alone in his room with his thoughts. He said later, "It was the worst time of my life." But music helped him get away. He drew and listened to songs when he had nothing else to do. This made him love singing even more. He was a different guy when he finally got better. He was more determined and loved music more than ever. It didn't take him long to start doing something. Early years, Tom became the lead singer of a Welsh band called Tommy Scott and the Senators in 1963. Not many people knew about them, but in South Wales, they were very popular. People really liked them, and Tom's strong voice made him stand out. People started to talk about the singer with the strong voice. Even though they worked with producer Joe Meek to make a few songs, they didn't become famous right away. Someone from Decca named Peter Sullivan saw them play at a show and things began to change. It wasn't easy even back then. The band made some songs, but not many people liked them. Then Tom met Gordon Mills, who would make his whole life different. Mills did more than just help singers make money. He saw the future in a unique way. That something in Tom was unique and could go beyond the small clubs in Wales, he thought. Mills changed Tom's name and brought him to London. It was over for Tommy Scott. The name Tom Jones came from a well-known movie from 1963. Though this name stuck, Tom's great singing was what made him famous. Mills did a lot to get Tom a record deal. With Decca Records in 1964, they finally had a hit. That year, they released their first song, Chills and Fever. It didn't do very well. It looked like no one noticed it. They were under a lot of stress, but they didn't give up. Then came It's Not Crazy. Tom was going to become a big star with this song. Tom went from being famous in his own country to being famous all over the world for more than just his voice. He was also determined to keep going even when things went wrong. When things weren't going as planned early in Tom's work, he came to a point where many people would have given up. He instead grew stronger in his passion and purpose. He was ready to take on new tasks. Whether he had to change his name or get used to a new sound. His toughness became a trademark of his work, showing that getting ahead doesn't always happen in a straight line. Many people may not have believed in Tom in his early years, but his persistence and Gordon Mills' trust in his abilities set the stage for a future full of famous songs and unforgettable performances. Get Famous. After Radio Caroline played the song a lot, it became a huge hit in early 1965. It became a hit right away in the US and went straight to number 1 in the UK. Tom was no longer just a well-known musician in his area. He caused a stir. The hit songs kept coming out. In the same year, Tom made the theme song for the James Bond movie Thunderball as well as Burt Bacharach and Hal David's strange and memorable song What's New Pussycat. Bacharach talked Tom into singing such a strange song, even though Tom wasn't sure at first. The song became even more famous when Tom sang that famous chorus with a lot of power. Everyone knew who Tom Jones was by 1966. Everyone could hear his deep, strong voice. He even got a Grammy that year for being the best new act. But just as quickly as he became well known, it started to go away. While the British were taking over, people began to enjoy other types of music more than Tom's. His singing wasn't getting worse, but things were changing in the music business. Tom had to change how he did things to be effective. He got help from Gordon Mills again at that point. Mills had a plan. He changed how people saw Tom. He went from being a crazy rock and roll singer to a crooner, which meant that more people could like him. This change worked. Tom began to make more mature and serious music, combining his soulful voice with love songs and slow songs. He became well known again very quickly. Tom put out hit song after hit song over the next few years. In the UK, songs like Delilah, I'll Never Fall in Love Again, and I'm Coming Home were big hits. Delilah was one of his best-known songs and got to number 2 on the charts. Each song was unique because of Tom's strong, emotional singing. The duties of Tom's job grew as his fame did. He had to deal with the stresses of being a worldwide star all the time. Behind the scenes, Tom's strength was put to the test by both the challenges of the music business and the stress of keeping up a public image while balancing his personal life. His rapid rise to fame pushed him into new areas, such as playing at high-class venues and signing lucrative deals. His fame wasn't just due to his songs. It was about leaving a lasting mark on a business that is always changing. Even as people's tastes in music changed, Tom learned to adapt and find new ways to connect with his fans and stay relevant. He was a timeless figure because he could change while staying true to his roots. His continued success was proof of his ability to remake himself when he needed to. Exciting world of Las Vegas, I made an album called From the Heart while I was in Vegas with Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley. I don't know why they called it that, but it was a bunch of standards that I did with big arrangements. The first time Tom Jones went to Las Vegas, it was in 1967, and he did a show at the Flamingo Hotel. This was a big moment in his career. His attitude fit right in with Vegas's glitzy and lively vibe, and the people who saw his shows loved how big and exciting he was on stage. His shows quickly became well known. Tom was no longer just singing. He was putting on a great show. His shirts were often only half open. He looked very open and friendly, and wore tight pants. This made him look very beautiful, and his strong voice had an extra spark to it. He felt like Vegas was a second home. Because of that, he played there for at least 1 week every year until 2011. Jones did more than just live shows, though. He was very well known in the UK and the US from 1969 to 1971 because of his own TV show called This Is Tom Jones. At that point, the show was worth £9 million, which was a big amount of money. For a Welsh boy who used to just want people to listen to him sing. Jones' unique personality and the fact that the show had funny skits and a lot of different singers singing together kept him in the public eye while he kept making hit songs. A Golden Globe Award nod came from his show, which a lot of people loved. Around the middle of the 1970s, Tom's influence began to drop. It looked like songs that used to do really well on the charts weren't doing as well now. The music business was changing. Jones wasn't ready to give up, though. He started singing country music, and this change worked because he never gave up. Say You'll Stay Until Tomorrow, a song he wrote in 1976, went to number 1 on the US country music charts. This showed that he could write a lot of different types of music. Jones could change and adapt whenever he had to. This helped him keep going with his job. At about the same time, Tom tried performing too. In 1979, he got his first acting job in the TV movie Pleasure Cove. His first planned movie part in Yakka Wall didn't happen because the movie's makers ran out of money. This was a different side of Tom Jones. People were surprised by how smooth and charming he was as a thief. Things got very sad for him after that. When Gordon Mills, his boss and longtime friend, died of cancer in 1986. Jones was having a very hard time at this point. He helped shape his success and was there for him through good times and bad. Mills was mostly to blame for the Tom Jones that everyone knew. Mills died, and Tom's son Mark took over as his boss. Tom's job got off to a good start again quickly because they worked well together. Jones became well known in the UK again in 1987 when his song A Boy From Nowhere made it to number 2 on the lists. The next year, he had another hit with a new version of Prince's song called Kiss, which he made with the dance music group Art of Noise. Jones was going through a very important time. The song had a modern and funky sound, and when he put it with his strong, classic voice, it made something new and exciting. People really liked the music video on MTV, and the song did really well in both the US and the UK. An important comeback, and Jones began to attract to a younger crowd. Tom's work was going well again by the 1990s. He got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and worked with Van Morrison, who was a famous singer. Not only that, but he also sang in front of thousands of people at the Glastonbury Festival in the UK. People still found him interesting and important in pop culture, as shown by the fact that he appeared on TV shows like The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and The Simpsons. Jones continued to be successful after putting out the album Reload in 1999. It had many songs with other singers, such as Robbie Williams, The Cardigans, and Portishead. More than 4 million copies were sold, making it one of his most popular songs ever. And getting to the top of the UK music charts. The album's song Sex Bomb became a big hit. Its fun and silly sound made it one of Jones' most famous songs. Tom wasn't just having fun, though. He won a Brit Award at the start of the new century for being the best male singer in Britain. This was a recognition of his important services to music. He also sang for U.S. President Bill Clinton at an event in Washington, D.C., to celebrate the new century. This showed that he was liked by people all over the world. He made a new record called Mr. Jones in 2002 with the help of Wyclef Jean, a famous rapper from both Haiti and the United States. He was always willing to try something new. This album was not like his other songs. Tom once more proved that he was brave enough to try something new. Queen Elizabeth II gave Tom Jones the title of Knight in 2006. A boy from Treforest, Wales, had done something very important. There was no doubt that Sir Tom Jones was a well-known and respected person. His work had lasted for many years, sold more than 100 million records, and had many famous moments. Tom didn't slow down even when he was 70 years old. He learned how to be a teacher on the hit TV show The Voice UK, where he taught young artists and talked about what he had learned over the years. He stayed on the show for several seasons because people liked how nice he was and how smart his advice was. He put out an album in 2010 called Praise and Blame. It had gospel and blues songs that showed how strong his singing was. The record got to number 2 on the UK music charts and was praised by music critics. This showed that Tom could still make something new and exciting after all these years. Some of Tom Jones's later records, like Spirit in the Room and Long Lost Suitcase, showed how talented he was. Only Tom Jones could mix blues, gospel, and rock music in a way that made each record full of soul. These albums came out at the same time as Tom's book, Over the Top and Back. In it, he wrote about the good and bad times in his work in an honest and funny way. Anyone who heard Tom's record Surrounded by Time in 2021 was shocked again. It had new versions of songs by Bob Dylan, Todd Snider, and other artists. Everyone who heard this record gave it a lot of thought. Tom was honest about getting older, losing people, and life in general. His performance of the song I'm Growing Old was especially moving because it showed how weak he really is underneath his exciting and strong personality. Tom still played with the same energy and excitement he had when he was younger, even though he was in his 80s. It was 2022 when he sang at the Principality Field in Cardiff. His strong voice filled the field and thrilled both old and new fans. Tom and Linda's love story. Tom Jones' love life has been just as interesting as his work life. Melinda Rose Trenchard, his childhood love, who everyone just called Linda, was at the center of it all. Tom and Linda's story began when they were 12 years old and walked to school together in Treforest, Wales, their small town. When they were 16, Linda was already pregnant, and they chose to have a quiet wedding at the Pontypridd Register office. From that day in 1957 on, they were always together, even though they didn't always do things the right way. In the mid-1960s, when Tom's career took off, Linda stayed out of the public eye for the most part. At that time, he was recording some of the most famous songs in the world, while Linda stayed at home to care for their son Mark and keep things rolling. She was the only thing in his life that didn't change, even when he was famous and busy. There were times when Tom Jones broke up with his wife. Tom Jones himself said that he slept with many people when he was at the top of his fame. He said he could have slept with up to 250 people in a year. Many women thought he looked even more like a love hero when he wore tight pants and an open shirt to his shows in Las Vegas. During his shows, women would often throw their underwear on the stage, and Tom, who was always charming, would laugh it off. Tom was married to Linda, but he was also seeing many other women. Some of these relationships were more public than others. The one with Mary Wilson from the music group The Supremes in the late 1960s was one of the most well-known. They were together for 2 years, but when Linda found out, it ended all of a sudden. Tom said Linda was very mad when she found out about the affair, and she wasn't afraid to tell him about it in a normal Welsh way. Lisa stayed with Tom, even though he wasn't always reliable. That's why Linda chose to stay married to him, even though he was seeing another famous woman in the early 1970s. Tom hooked up with Marjorie Wallace, who was Miss World at the time, for a short time in 1973. The news made a big deal out of this, and Marjorie Wallace lost her title because of it. A lot of news stories were written about their friendship, and everyone talked about it. But when Linda found out, Tom had to explain things to more than just the reporters. He had to face his wife too. Linda got very angry when Tom told her the truth, and she hit him. She did choose to stay with him again, though. Tom broke up with Marjorie Wallace because Linda was more important to him than anyone else. There was another big problem in their relationship in 1987 when Tom dated an American model for a short time. Her name was Catherine Burkery. This time, there were effects that lasted. After Catherine Burkery got pregnant, a DNA test showed that Tom was the father of her son Jonathan. Even though this happened, Tom wouldn't get close to his son. He said the affair was a mistake and that he had been lied to. Jonathan is Tom's son from his affair with Catherine Burkery. He is now 30 years old and is said to have never met his father. For many years, Tom didn't talk much about this affair. When asked about it in 2008, Tom confirmed that it did happen, but he didn't try to make things right with his son. Tom dated other women, but Linda and Tom stayed married. It was known that Linda liked to keep to herself. She and Tom rarely went to public events together or went on tour together. She wanted to stay home instead of going out with her husband to all the fun and exciting places. They bought a big, nice house in Wales in the late 1980s. Linda worked hard to make their life together peaceful and quiet. The last few years of their lives were spent mostly in Los Angeles, but Linda always missed Wales and the easy life they had there. Linda pulled away from the world more and more as Tom went on tour and made music, and she often chose not to go with him. But even though they lived in different places at times, they were still emotionally connected. Tom once told me that Linda was the most important thing in my life. He also said that he couldn't lie to her because they both grew up in Wales and believed the same things. Tom recorded a song with a special message for his wife that was on his very famous album Reload, which came out in 1999. What a long trip they had taken together and how much he loved her, even though they had some hard times. The song was called The Road. The lyrics say, "All that I know is wherever I go, the road always returns to you." Which shows that Tom realized that no matter how famous he became, was always the most important person in his life. Linda's death in 2016, something very sad happened to Tom and Linda. After a long fight against lung cancer, Linda died. Tom was heartbroken. He had been with her for 59 years, and losing her was the hardest thing he had ever experienced. In interviews after she died, Tom talked about how much Linda meant to him. She had been the foundation of his life, the thing that kept him steady. But in her final moments, Linda encouraged Tom to keep going and not let her death break him. One particular song became a powerful symbol of their love. "I won't crumble with you if you fall." A new version of an old song that Tom recorded in 2021 was inspired by Linda's words. The song is about being there for someone when they are going through a difficult time, but also having the strength to keep moving forward. For Tom, this song was a way to remember Linda and to honor her wish for him to continue doing what he loved, singing. After Linda died, Tom moved back to the UK, fulfilling her last wish for him. He left the big house in Los Angeles that she had decorated because he no longer felt happy there without her. Tom's performances became a way for him to deal with his sadness, and he often talked about how he felt Linda was with him every time he went on stage. In the years since Linda passed away, Tom has made it clear that Linda was the love of his life, and he would never marry again. He said in an interview, "There's no history with anybody else." Despite the fame, the affairs, and the glamorous life he lived, Linda was always the most important woman in his life. Their marriage wasn't always perfect, but in the end, it was real. For Tom, the lasting effect of his love for Linda can be seen in his music. Even now, as his voice has become deeper with age, he sings with the same passion and feeling that first captivated people in the 1960s. He may have sung for millions of people, but only one woman truly held his heart. Tom's grief after Linda's passing was something he carried with him every day. But it also sparked a profound transformation in his music. Her death not only altered his personal life, but also reshaped his creative process. As a man who had always channeled his emotions into his performances, Tom found that the loss of Linda gave his voice a new depth, one that resonated with a vulnerability he had never fully explored before. This emotional shift in his artistry brought out a rawness in his songs, allowing fans to connect with him on a deeper level. Tom's dedication to his craft, coupled with the love he had for Linda, ensured that her memory would live on not just in his heart, but also through the music that continued to inspire generations. What are your Tom Jones memories? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories, and don't forget to check out one of the 2 videos on your screen. We'll see you in the next one.